of the NHL. Ben Scrimmons came on in relief Friday, stopping all 7 shots he faced. This will be his 19th start of the year. He is 2-1 lifetime against the Rangers. 2-1 for the Oilers. 29 saves last night in Vancouver for his 11th win of the season. But he has been on the Oilers season so once in his career.
Calgary had the worst goals against average in the NHL last season, so both goaltenders are brand new. 31-year-old Brian Elliott is the starter. He's backed up by Tad Johnson. Cam Talbot got better as the season went on for the Oilers, but they need him to be good right off the hop early in the season this time round. Referees tonight are Brian Pochmera and Kyle Raymond. Darren Gibbs and Mark Mueller are the linesmen, and we're ready for hockey for the first time in Rogers Place.
Along with Marty St. Louis, and look at Chris Kreider. Let's take a look at the keys to the game, brought to you by Ford, official automotive partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
Going back to that compete level, you've got to be all in, all game. Can't be one guy here and there. Everybody's got to be on board. And if you watch the New York Rangers, their big key is their team speed. From the back end to the top guys, they can really motor. Is there the Edmonton Oilers? Going back to that compete level, you've got to be all in, all game. Can't be one guy here and there. Everybody's got to be on board. And if you watch the New York Rangers, their big key is their team speed. From the back end to the top guys, they can really motor.
Let's take a look at the keys to the game, brought to you by Ford.
And there's an icing call against Edmonton.
You mentioned all the emotion, man. Big for the Calgary Flames coming up to this new building. The excitement of having Johnny Gaudreau back in the lineup with the new deal is going to give them energy. And we saw Mark Messier and Wayne Gretzky skating around the rink. And I think the natural passing of the torch is the new captain.
Could have been a lot worse.
All game. Can't be one guy here and there. Everybody's got to be on board. And if you watch the New York Rangers, their big key is their team speed. Going back to that compete level.
Having Johnny Gaudreau back in the lineup with the new deal is going to give them energy. And we saw Mark Messier and Wayne Gretzky skating around the rink. And I think the natural passing of the Gaudreau,
they can really motor.
The odd man rushes in that night 5-1, and it could have been a lot worse, Drew. They had so many odd man rushes in that first period.
He's been in the league for a dozen. Decides to
emotion, and I think for the Calgary Flames coming up to this new building, the excitement of having Johnny Gaudreau back in the lineup with the new deal is going to give them energy. And we saw Mark Messier and Wayne Gretzky skating around the rink.
I think the natural perfectly, and they get up.
About it, JT Miller fills in at center, along with Zuccarello and Nash. Nash with 30 points on the season, 18 goals. Only Tyler Seguin has more. Nash with the puck now. Nash brings it in against Petrie, throws the puck towards the net, ends up going behind right to Boyle. He fires it towards the cage off the glove of Ben Scrimmons. Dan Boyle was also not in the lineup the last time these teams met. Boyle broke his hand in the game's October 9th in St. Louis, blocking a shot.
That's the one, the challenge that Alan has had, getting everybody healthy into the lineup. As you talked about, Stepan missed 12 games. Boyle missed, as this is only his 11th game. There's a lot of guys that have been in and out of the lineup. He hasn't got that consistency.
Penalty call against the Edmonton Oilers.
Let's take a look at the keys to the game, brought to you by Ford, official automotive partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
Going back to that compete level, you've got to be all in, all game. Can't be one guy here and there. Everybody's got to be on board. And if you watch the New York Rangers, their big key is their there. Everybody's got to be on board. And if you watch the New York Rangers all game, can't be one guy here and there. Everybody's got to be on board. And if you watch the New York Rangers, their big key is their team speed. From the back end to the top guys, they can really motor. Key one guy here and there. Everybody's got to be on board. And if you watch the New York Rangers, their big key is that
Edmonton Oilers.
Going back to that compete level, you've got to be all in, all game. Can't be one guy here and there. Everybody's got to be on board. And if you watch the New York Rangers, their big key is their team speed. From the back end to the top guys, they can really motor.
They beat Vancouver last night 5-1, and it
got to be all in, all game. Can't be one guy here and there. Everybody's got to be on board. And if you watch the New York Rangers, their big key is their team speed. From the back end to the top guys, they can really motor.
They beat Vancouver last night. Nash with 30 points against Petrie.
1 minute, 2 minutes, 19 seconds. 2 minutes.
The game on Friday.
2 minutes, 41 seconds. 2 minutes, 42 seconds.
Brad Hunt from Oklahoma City is not in the lineup. Played 17 games in Oklahoma City. Put up 22 points. Hagelin. Shot for Hayes. That one goes wide. On the near side, keeps it in briefly. There is Brandon Davidson. He is paired with Justin Schultz.
Sorry, partner. That last rush up the ice by the New York Rangers, that was a late pinch by Justin Schultz. Nobody covered for him. Came back. It was almost a 3-on-2, but a good job on the back check to negate it.
Jesper Fast drops it back for Girardi. He'll give it to the captain. The pass goes astray, and this is Draisaitl. Draisaitl back to the point. Bain with a shot, and that was blocked by Tanner Glass. Holding with a shot. The pad save by Lundqvist. Dominic Moore fires it in. He is with Boston. Tanner Glass, who was a scratch last night in Vancouver. Part of his fourth line. Moore lays it around the near side. Picking up there is Yakupov. He'll give it to Ollie for his D partner, Mark Bain. Bain up for Everly past him, and that line is going to change up. Rangers, the second of a 4-game road trip. They haven't played very many games. They had so many. Vancouver last night.
Guys to start against Calgary. I think the importance here for the Edmonton Oilers is a much better defensive play. You mentioned the Calgary Flames problems, 30th in the year last year, but the Edmonton Oilers were 27th, and this is a team that needs to be a much better defensive team. And Jim, I think Cam Talbot in goal for the Oilers has got to be a guy who gets off to a great start. It was not a good October, November. It's a team that needs to be Edmonton all year. Is a much better defensive play. You mentioned the Calgary Flames problems, 30th in the year last year, but the Edmonton Oilers were 27th, and this is a team that needs to be a much better defensive team. And Jim, I think Cam Talbot in goal for the Oilers has got to be a guy who gets off to a great start. It was not a good October, November for him last year, and he's going to have to be.
3 minutes 18 seconds of 1. 3 minutes 48 seconds.
Many games. And a good defensive play there by Matt Hendricks.
Defense jumping up into play. Kevin Klein with a beautiful read. Good play by Hendricks to break that up.
Coming into this game, the Rangers playing only their 27th game. The Oilers are at game 31. To the middle it goes. Marty St. Louis is checked by Gazdic, who dumps it in. It is Otto. Takes John Moore. Eric Stepan. Long shot. High off the glass. The Rangers make a change. They'll be in Calgary on Tuesday. Wrap up the trip Carolina on Saturday. The Oilers are going to hit the road for the next two. Arizona and San Jose. Miller checks. Shot right on. And Lundqvist makes the save. No rebound.
This period brought to you by Sport Check. This holiday season, don't give just any gift. Give the gift of sport.
John Shannon talked about the analytics that the Oilers like to use. But here's one that Dallas Aikens threw at us today. The Oilers in the first period have got 49% of the shots, but they've only come out with 18% of the goals. Talking about the last 15 games. That's maybe why 5-on-5 and they have fallen behind in games. And Dallas Aikens talked about it. Got to find a way to get the puck in the net somehow. Bottom line is, though, I still think it comes down to those things we talked about being competitive and getting in the right spot.
He's back into his own zone. Pass intended for Hagelin. Past him. And shot right back in by Schultz. The Rangers do not have a shot yet. Let's take a look at the keys to the game. Brought to you by Ford, official automotive partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
Going back to that compete level, you've got to be all in, all game. Can't be one guy here and there. Everybody's got to be on board. And if you watch the near all in, all
partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
Going back to that compete level, you've got to be all in, all game. Can't be one guy here and there. Everybody's got to be on board. And if you watch the New York Rangers, their big key is their team speed. From the back end to the top guys, they can really motor.
They beat Vancouver last night 5-1, and it could have been a lot worse, Drew. They had so many.
Here and there, everybody's got to be on board. And if you watch the New York Rangers, their big key is their team speed. From the back end to the top guys, they can really motor.
They beat Vancouver last night 5-1, and it could have been a lot worse, Drew. They had so many odd man rushes in.
Play keyboard short. See slider at 2 minutes.
Stepniak.
3 minutes 18. 4 minutes. 5 minutes 38 seconds.
game with
Third period, 3-20
6 minutes.
in that game, including an 11-4 barrage in the third period.
And there was a debate after the game with the Anaheim Ducks. Did they take their foot off the gas, or did the Edmonton Oilers step it up? Either way, it doesn't really matter. Go back to the start of the game. How are you playing from the drop of the puck through the entire game? Not at the very end when you're falling behind.
Ryder
Back to gas, or the Edmonton Oilers step it up.
6 minutes, 14 seconds.
Either way, it doesn't really matter. Go back to the start of the game. How are you playing from the drop of the puck through the entire game? Not at the very end when you're falling behind.
Ryder from the corner.
Time increased.
Arcabello leaves it there.
6 minutes. October 12/2016 Calgary Flames. Ed. October 12. Goal scored in large. Play keyboard short. Pause keyboard short. No item in view. No item. Click.
For Mark Fane. The Rangers, including last night's game in Vancouver, 12 of their next 18 are going to be on the road. Hall. Teddy Purcell for Hall. With shot. Lundqvist the save. The rebound comes loose and it's picked up there by Marty St. Louis.
Marty St. Louis.
Teddy Purcell on the top line with
Russell.
Hall and Nugent Hopkins.
Larson will get the first goal.
Ferris
Into King Dance.
chips it ahead for Hall. Too far. Boyle will give it to Moore. Get it back
The
again.
boards.
And Boyle reverses for Moore off the boards. He was trying to get it to Foss. He was tied up right in front of the bench by Nugent Hopkins. Now Draisaitl comes over the boards along with Everly and Nail Yakupov. Yakupov the intercept. Here's Yakupov. Can't get started. And a penalty coming up. And the Oilers are going to get their first power play of this game. They've got 6 attackers on the ice right now. Yakupov to Everly. Everly through his skates. Centering pass. Now it's touched by Miller. Through his skates. Centering pass. Now it's touched by Miller. And a hooking call forthcoming.
You want to slow a fast team down? Make sure you stay above the play. Nice job by Jeff Petrie. Allows good gap control. He's able to make the play. And then you've got the attack going the other way. Get to the net, though. That's a shot. You want to be able to try to get to the net as much as you can when Taylor Hall's got the opportunity to shoot the puck. You want to be able to try to get to the net as much as you can when Taylor Hall's got the opportunity to shoot the puck. On the penalty, you've got Nail Yakupov jumping in.
7 minutes, 20
So a
seconds.
little bit of a hook. The hook comes up. Chester fast. There was nicknamed the Easy Joe score sheet will be for a penalty.
And this is what
on the
you
penalty,
see,
you've got
Jim, when you're left work in the National Hockey League. Bad timing there as Russell turned around with the reverse pass that Tkachuk didn't lay up in time. So the first penalty and an early opportunity for the Oilers to get this crowd back on their feet.
Power play is brought to you by BioSteel Sports Nutrition, the natural choice for everyday performance. Drink the pink.
Goal scored in NHL.
Ryan Nugent Hopkins starts on the power.
YouTube.
Better known.
more. No, got a couple of rings.
0% vertically scored.
Oilers were 0 for 3 when these teams met in New York back in November. 3rd, Girardi. And another new look as Matt Henricks is on this power play as McDonough gets a stick in the way of that. Matt Henricks is on this power play as McDonough gets a stick in the way of that Nugent Hopkins shot and sends it up into the netting.
I don't know how to explain this. I don't know how to explain the difference in the record versus the East versus the West. Billy Jaffe and John Shannon, David Amber talked about, well, they don't.
Got to Everett. Yakupov to Petrie. To Everly. Snaps it towards the net. Perron in front. He and Pitlick are on this power play along with Yakupov. Pitlick plays it behind the net. Everly waiting for it. Gets it to Perron. Perron spins to try and get away from Hagler. Everly lays it back to the point. Petrie can't control it there, and the Oilers will have to regroup. Hagelin sends it the length of the ice. The Oilers were 1 for 4 in that game against Anaheim on Friday. Petrie sends it in. Lundqvist will play it around the boards. Waiting for it there is Blassie. Give it away to Hall. Hall to Perron. David Perron up top for Petrie. Petrie fakes it. And he got it to Hall, but he took it off his skate. Couldn't get that shot away. To the middle it goes. Pitlick to Petrie. Petrie now has an opportunity for the wrist shot that gets the wide. Picked up by Perron. He gets surrounded by Hayes and Girardi. And it is Kevin Hayes who works it down the ice. He's 6'5", 225 pounds.
Brother Jimmy, 6'6", plays for Chicago Blackhawks.
Still, they call Kevin Shorty. Nugent Hopkins across the blue line. Nugent Hopkins stops up, gives it to Davidson. Schultz didn't get anything going there, and he'll send it down the ice. The Rangers do. Nash going after it. Scrivens calmly plays it over to Davidson. The Oilers generate one shot on that power play. Nugent Hopkins chips it in. He'll chase it himself. Purcell in on the forecheck along with Nugent Hopkins. That's Zuccarello. Comes out of the pile with the puck, and he will lead the rush. One of the speedier members of this team, along with Hagelin. He played it out in front and went off Davidson and wide. St. Louis got it out cross ice. One-timer attempt by Boyle didn't work. Miller from the corner. Davidson checks in. Boyle down low digging for it. Gets it to Zuccarello. Back up top. St. Louis covering his shot off the stick of David Perron and into the corner. Miller's got it down. He's it to St. Louis. They lost it. Nugent Hopkins has got it. The Oilers want to get it out and get a change. Kenny Purcell goes cross ice, and it's picked up there by Brandon Davidson. He will gain the line and shoot it in. 11 and a half minutes left to go in the first period. The Rangers, who played last night, as we mentioned, they don't have a shot yet. St. Louis kicks it back to Stahl, who gives it to Kevin Klein. St. Louis checked by Hendricks. Klein helps him out, gets it to Mark Stahl. Stahl, long, hopeful pass, hops over the stick of Draisaitl. And it's picked up there by Keith Ollie. Ollie didn't dress the last two games. In the lineup now with Mark Fayne. Everly will give it to Fayne. Down to Hendricks. Draisaitl going after it. Leon Draisaitl takes a bump behind the net. Hendricks trying to help him out. And it's picked up now by Lee Stepniak. Stepniak stopped by Everly. Barrett's now bouncing puck is controlled by Draisaitl. He almost gave it away. Petrie. Everly to Draisaitl, checked by Tanner Glass. It's the definition of scrambly play,
Yes,
Coach.
it's the definition of hard work and tight checking, but not much flow going.
Rogers Oilers hockey right here on Sportsnet from Rexall Place. Arcabello being attended to.
Mark Arcabello recuperating on the Oilers bench after initiating a check, but he runs into the elbow and the hip of Mark Stahl, much bigger individual, and it looked like it took the wind out of him and maybe hurt his rib because he was on the bench and quite a bit of discomfort, and now looks like he's okay. He's having those deep breaths, trying to force it in, still shaking his head a little bit, going, I didn't expect that.
5'8", 172 pounds. A lot of the checks he throws are against guys bigger than him.
And now it took the wind. Looks like maybe hurt his rib because he was on the bench and quite a bit of discomfort, and now looks like he's okay. He's having those deep breaths, trying to force it in, still shaking his head a little bit, going, I didn't expect that.
5'8", 172 pounds. A lot of the checks he throws are against guys bigger than him. He's got to go after Marty St. Louis tonight.
Exactly. Run him.
Henricks, Benizzato, and Gazden. Fourth line also out for the New York Rangers. Dominic Moore. Off the end of his stick. Brandon Davidson gets to it first. Davidson, he is checked. Gets a little help there from Hendricks. Schultz. To Benizzato. Benizzato flips it in. Hendricks will get to it first. Ahead of John Moore. Glass. Moves it to Dominic Moore. Moore chips it in. That line will peel off on a change. 9:45 left to go here in the first period. Hendricks. A slow roller down into Ranger territory. Benizzato took it into John Moore, and that puck goes out of play.
This is the Sports Select Legends comeback kid, and he. This.
Took it into John Moore, and that might...
You know your business. We know how to protect it. Inside Insurance, specializing in the oil and gas and construction industries. InsideInsurance.ca.
Matt Hendricks has been a very serviceable NHL veteran for Dallas Aikens. He talked to Gene Principe before the game about what he expects his team to do, his line to do especially. He gets on the forecheck, sustain some pressure, and he's going to be on that power play when he gets the opportunity. He also told Gene Principe his job is just very serviceable. Matt Hendricks has been a very serviceable NHL veteran for Dallas Aikens. He talked to Gene Principe before the game about what he expects his team to do, his line to do especially. He get on the forecheck, sustain some pressure, and he's going to be on that power play when he gets the opportunity. He also told Gene Principe his job is to stand in front and screen Henrik Lundqvist.
He was 7-5 in the faceoff circle in the last game.
Amazing.
56.5% so far.
He's one of those guys as a player, you love him as a coach because...
Quick shot there by Kreider, stopped by Scrivens. That is the first shot for the Rangers. Hall brings it across the blue line. Teddy Purcell. For Hall, he was tied up by Girardi. Gets it back again. Nugent Hopkins has the puck. Back to the point it comes. Jeff Petrie through traffic. His shot goes wide. Ferentz pinching. Hall behind the net. A bouncing puck to the corner. Kreider lays it along the wall, and the Rangers come away. This is St. Louis with Derek Stepan, and a good defensive play there sends the puck back the other way. Nugent Hopkins will flip it in. The shots 4-1 in favor of the Oilers, and one of those shots for Edmonton came on the power play. Nash. Good shot. Glove save. Scrivens. He'll hang on. Ben Scrivens. 2-1 lifetime against the New York Rangers.
A similar photo like this, it was sent to the head medical trainer of the New York Rangers to keep from spreading the viral infection on commercial flights on his way back to New York.
Something that you're going to have to... It's a scary
Ben Scrivens. 2-1 lifetime against the New York Rangers.
Tanner Glass was the first New York Ranger to have the mumps, and he had the photo to prove it. And today, verification that Sidney Crosby also has been stricken with the mumps. Derek Brassard with a similar photo like this. It was sent to the head medical trainer of the New York Rangers, Jim Ramsey, and at that point, he was diagnosed with the mumps, sent home on a private plane to keep from spreading the viral infection on commercial flights on his way back to New York.
What is going on?
It was very interesting to hear John and Billy and David talk about the
back to New York.
What is
the head medical trainer of the New York Rangers, Jim Ramsey, and at that point he was diagnosed with the mumps, sent home on a private plane.
Tried to play it in.
It was Tanner Glass like this. It was sent to the head medical on his way back to New York.
What is going on?
It was very interesting to hear John and Billy and David talk about the mumps at the start of the program, and it is something that you're going to have to start as organizations really taking a big examination of your sanitary duties. It's a scary thing, man.
So Tanner Glass, this is game 400 in his career. His team locked at a 0-0 tie with the Edmonton Oilers. And Pitlick brings it across the line. He'll give it to Arcabello. Arcabello trying to feed it back to him. Pitlick behind the net, checked by Stahl. And it comes free for Boyle. He is checked by Pitlick. Now Pitlick out in front, and a bouncing puck gets by Arcabello, trying to play it in front. Davidson couldn't keep it in. Miller goes cross ice, finds Nash at center. He'll flip it in. But the line change was coming. Rick Nash, 11 points in his last 9 games. Yakubov. He is stopped, but Draisaitl carries on. Draisaitl to Everly. Everly down low for Yakubov. Got knocked down by John Moore. Picked up by Stempniak. He got it to Hagman, who backhanded it down into Oiler territory. Davidson sweeps it around the boards, waiting for it. There is Yakupov. Can't get it by Girardi. Hayes behind the net. Schultz sends it to Everly. He is checked. The puck comes out. McDonough brings it back in with Stepniak. Stepniak behind the net. The Stepniak still has it. He'll play it back to the point. Girardi to McDonough. McDonough winds, fires a slap pass. Girardi picks it up on the near side for Stepniak. Rangers with pressure now. This is Stepniak behind the net for Girardi. Look how low number 5 is. He'll play it right back up top. McDonough. Hayes draws a crowd. Here is Girardi stepping into a slap shot. That one is stopped. Puck comes free to the corner. First sustained pressure for the New York Rangers in this period.
And the very definition of 5-man forecheck. Everybody, all the pieces involved. Yakupov got clipped with a stick there. No call by the official.
Purcell. Pass intercepted by Moore, but it comes back to him. He'll give it to Nugent Hopkins, who lost it to Jesper Fast.
Right there, Teddy Purcell's just got to be, don't have to make that play or try to make that play. Just put that puck deep, past the red line, and then get your feet going. Forecheck works when the Oilers get puck behind the defense.
Barron's pass for him didn't work. The Rangers come right back in. Moore flips it in. Glass gives Ferentz a bump. Dominic Moore centering pass. Hall is there defensively. The puck comes free. Moore from the corner. Dominic Moore drives the net, takes the shot, Scrivens the save, the puck is loose, and the whistle goes as Scrivens took the worst of that one. The Rangers driving the net, and Scrivens pulled down by Moore, but still made the save.
New York Rangers, it's Jesper Fast. For the Edmonton Oilers, it's Victor Fast who are in tonight's game. Now, there have been Fasts in the NHL before. Brad Fast, 2003, played 1 game for Carolina. In 2005, LA drafted TJ Fast, who spent some time in the East Coast Hockey League with Cincinnati, among other places. There has never been any Fast other than Victor in the NHL, and I hope I made you think fast and Fast.
He has 13 people on his research staff. You know that?
I did, because I'm one of them.
5:10 to go in the first period. Rangers now outshooting the Oilers 5-4.
I'm just intern.
Yes, that's true. You're on probation. And Lundqvist makes the save, no rebound.
This period brought to you by Sport Check. This holiday season, don't give just any gift. Give the gift of sport.
John Shannon talked about the analytics that the Oilers like to use. Well, here's one that Dallas Aikens threw at us today. The Oilers in the first period have got 49 from 15 games. That's maybe why 5-on-5.
And you mentioned a young player trying to make his mark in the National Hockey League. Bad timing there as Russell turned around with the reverse pass and Tkachuk didn't lay up in time. So the first penalty and an early opportunity for the Oilers to get this crowd back on their feet. Power play is brought to you by BioSteel Sports Nutrition. The next Russell turned around with the reverse pass and Tkachuk didn't lay up in time. So the first penalty and an early opportunity for the Oilers to get this crowd
9 minutes, 50 seconds,
back
17
on their
minutes,
feet.
40.
Power play is brought to you by BioSteel Sports Nutrition.
21
the
minutes,
natural choice for
21 minutes,
everyday
41
performance.
seconds.
Drink the pink.
21 minutes, 1 second, 1 hour.
Yes, that's true. You're on probation, buddy.
21 minutes, 40.
Purcell from the corner.
21 minutes,
Under
21
pressure
minutes,
from
7
Derek
seconds, 1 hour,
Stepan.
28 minutes, 25 seconds.
Kreider behind the net. Tied up by Ollie. It comes back to the point. Stall shot is blocked by Keith Ollie. Taylor Hall comes back to pick it up. And he gets hammered there by Kreider. Nugent Hopkins to Purcell. Crisscrossing with Hall at center. Taylor Hall across the blue line. Arcabello joins with the pass intercepted by Miller. And he could not get started.
Good read by Miller. Came on the ice quick, and he was already engaged in the game. That shows you he's taking that mental shift while he's sitting on the bench, and then he pops out in the ice, read the play perfectly.
Perron brings it in. This is a Pitlick. He snaps a shot that goes wide, and Davidson will have to go over and get it. Davidson trying to shoot it in. Zuccarello. Stop that. Gives it to Nash. Nash with a wrist shot off the stick of Schultz and into the corner. Miller, Zuccarello, and Nash. Girardi down low. Girardi right out in front. Zuccarello Zuccarello scores. Dan Girardi. Oh, Girardi up short and into the corner. Miller, Zuccarello, and well, they're giving it to Zuccarello right now, but they will change that once they take a look at the video. So Nash has got a 10-game point streak and a career high. Ferentz off Stepniak. Petrie back to pick it up. Yakupov drops it back for Petrie. Either way, Nash has got his point. Yep. Draisaitl from his knees sweeps it into Ranger territory. Lundqvist will send around the near side. Haas picks it up. Hayes lost it. Yakupov brings it back in. Yakupov resets. That means Pinizzato and Henriks have to clear. Gazdic completes the change. The fourth line is out there. It gets by Gazdic. Glass and a race with Ollie, and Tanner Glass gets there first, takes a hit. Boston there to try and help him out. He is pinned against the boards by Fane. Gazdic. He is stopped by Dominic Moore.
See what Dan Boyle wants. Dan Boyle's at the top of the face-off circle. And then Jesper Fast comes back to support him.
Moore with the puck now. Rangers, though, can't keep it in. That's a late offside as Stahl shot it in. 2:23 left to go in the period. Ollie goes cross ice. A bouncing puck is controlled by Mark Stahl. He'll play it up the wing. Good play by Nugent Hopkins to knock that down. Gazdic throws it towards the net. Walkered into the corner by Henrik Lundqvist. Some un-Lundqvist-like numbers. 32nd in save percentage. Nugent Hopkins spun around. Hall going into the corner after it against Girardi. Pins him against the boards. McDonough. Fighter. Up the middle for St. Louis. He'll dish it off to Stepan, who swoops it in and heads off. 6-5. The Rangers leading the shots on goal department and on the scoreboard by the score of 1-0. Hall with it now. Taylor Hall. And blue and white all around him. Does get the puck to Teddy Purcell. He's tied up. Nugent Hopkins behind the net. Avoids the check from Miller. Back to the play comes. Ollie waits, lets it go, and went off Zuccarello to the corner. Hall's got it there. Hall quickly back to the point. Here's Fane with a shot. Oilers are changing. Oilers went wide, picked up by Girardi. Girardi is checked by Ollie, who's down low. Miller, pass for McDonough doesn't work. Here is Fane right out in front for Yakupov, but he couldn't get the shot away. Fane right out in front for Yakupov, but he couldn't get the shot away.
2 seconds, 1 hours, 28 minutes, 25 seconds.
Nash. He's got Miller joining him. Fires a shot. That save by Scriven. Zuccarello keeps it in. Pass Nash. Davidson's got it. He is checked by Miller. Miller from the corner. Works it towards the blue line, but Yakupov, nice pass to Eberle. Moving in with Draisaitl. Crisscrossing of the blue line. Here is Draisaitl. Draisaitl behind the net. Yakupov takes a hit from Klein. Stahl works it up to Stepniak. Time winding down. 27 seconds to go. Stepniak out in front and a shot there by Hayes, but it snapped his stick on the one-timer.
It's a very good attack at the Oilers net. It was 4 guys up in the play. Kevin Klein activated from the weak side, and everybody was attacking the net.
Kevin Hayes with a 5-game point streak almost made it 6 there. Hagelin back to the point, waiting for it is Klein. He'll let it go. And just at the horn, the shot goes wide.
Now it's 41 minutes, 11 seconds.
Dan Girardi does indeed get that goal. His first in his last 12 games. And the New York Rangers have a 1-0 lead. Davis. We are moments away from the start of the second period.
Women. Off of Mark Arcabello. Goes in the net, doesn't touch Matt Zuccarello. And even when we saw the replay, Matt Zuccarello pointed at Dan Girardi as if to say, hey, babe, that's yours.
His second goal of the season, first in 12. Nash gets the assist, and Zuccarello also gets a helper, so he gets a point.
I don't know if he called him babe.
No, probably not. Second period underway. Eberle, Hall, Nugent Hopkins. Start the second period.
Lay out Draisaitl.
Nugent Hopkins.
Way up Draisaitl.
He gets knocked down, and a penalty coming up to Derek Stepan,
Darnell
who
Nurse.
took down Nugent Hopkins. Gets knocked down in a penalty period. Nugent Hopkins. He gets knocked down in a penalty coming up to Derek Stepan, who took down Nugent Hopkins, and the Oilers will get their second power play of this game. And now Hall and Chris Kreider getting a little pushing and shoving, and it is Kreider who's going to go to the penalty box.
I thought it was actually Dominic Muller. It was 20 and not 28. So that was the play. It was actually just in front, as you saw.
Yep.
We saw Brian Nugent Hopkins go down, but Taylor Hall was taken down just before that.
Performance twist to the front. Brian Nugent Hopkins starts on the power play. McDavid is to his left. Maroon to his right. They're to the neutral choice for everyday performance. Drink the pink.
0%
Brian Nugent Hopkins starts on the power play. McDavid is to his left. Maroon.
Hendricks, Hall, new shot.
0% score.
And Purcell.
Power play only 3 goals in the last 10 games.
Nugent Hopkins. Across the blue line, stops. He is checked by Hagler. Girardi goes down. Hendricks is in front of the net as Hall circles from behind. He'll play it back up top. Schultz. Nugent Hopkins under pressure from Carl Hagler. Gets it to Purcell. Danny Purcell on the corner. Back up top here is Schultz. Hall, one-time blast. And Lundqvist makes the save with Hendricks. Hall, one-time blast. And on the corner. Back up top here is Schultz. Hall, one-time blast. Good support by Hendricks from behind. He'll play it back up. Hendricks is in front of the net as Hall circles from behind. He'll play it back up top. Schultz. Nugent Hopkins under pressure. Here is Schultz.
Television pictures changed a little
Just a wee bit. Absolutely.
Here's McDavid against Monahan, and McDavid
In an order. Silk.
television pictures changed a little bit.
Just a wee bit. Absolutely.
Here's McDavid against Paelli.
In an order. Silk.
Television pictures changed a little
Just a wee bit.
Wants to get in front, but can't get in front of Henrik Lundqvist enough. And Taylor Hall
on the point. Yakupov as well as the puck goes down to Perron. Pitlick swoops in. Perron's got it. David Perron works it back to the point, but it's split. Yakupov and Petrie.
Your power play to work a little quicker. You want that puck moving a little bit quicker off the stick.
Petrie up the middle for Pitlick. Pitlick dishes off, swept around by Yakupov, waiting for it. Everly checked by Nash. Pins him against the boards. Puck still free. Pitlick, the other side. Perron races over. He keeps it. Everly picks it up on the near side. Tried to center it. It was broken up there by Stahl and picked up by Nash. Nash ahead to Stepan. Derek Stepan shorthanded. Centers it out in front, and there's Petrie to take it away. And Everly back for the Oilers. Everly stops inside the blue line. Feeds Perron. Gets the puck back again. He'll give it to Petrie. Petrie waits. Now Yakupov has it from the half wall. Yakupov with Perron in front. That one hit the captain, Ryan McDonough.
Again, stressing, if you're Dallas Aikens coaching staff, stress to your players. Don't have to dust that puck off. Just get it moving and get it to the net.
Penalty is over. Riders out of the penalty box. The Oilers over. And Lundqvist makes the save with Hendricks there.
Good support by Teddy Purcell. He pops up high in the zone.
Tonight's Edmonton Oilers power plays are brought to you by BioSteel. Drink the pink.
Well, right now the Flames on the road just trying to make sure this period doesn't get away from them. They're in pretty good defensive position, but it's McDavid who gets to that.
Right through the middle. And Matt Hendricks works to get in front, but can't get in front of Henrik Lundqvist enough. And Taylor Hall sitting for that one-timer. He's cocked, ready to roll. Boom! Fires it by. Lundqvist gets over in plenty of time.
Pitlick out there now with Perron and Everly. Petrie on the point. Yakupov as well as the puck goes down to Perron. Pitlick swoops in. Perron's got it. David Perron works it back to the point, but it's split. Yakupov and Petrie.
want your power play to work a little quicker. You want that puck moving a little bit quicker off the stick.
Petrie up the middle for Pitlick. Pitlick dishes off, swept around by Yakupov, waiting for it. Eberle checked by Nash, pins him against the boards. Puck still free. Pitlick, the other side, Moron races over. He keeps it in.
You next keep 31 minutes 32 minutes 31 minutes 44.
Hardy around the boards, can't get it by Teddy Purcell. But he knocked it down on a high stick.
Scroll.
Introducing the new BF Goodrich KO2 tire. BF Goodrich. Take control.
Dallas Eakins talked before the game about execution. How do you score goals? Well, you have to execute. And the power play is where you get a chance to execute with the most time. And Nail Yakupov, right, when he has this opportunity, he's dusting the puck off. He doesn't need to dust it off. He had an opportunity to put the puck to the net with about execution. How do you score goals? Well, you have to execute. And the power play is where you get a chance to execute with the most time. And Nail Yakupov, right, when he has this opportunity about execution. How do you score goals? Well, you have to execute. And the power play is where you get a chance to execute with the most time. And Nail Yakupov, right, to the net with people in front. Get it there. Want those ugly ones, something to bounce off of somebody, a little collateral damage goal.
That's exactly what Dallas Eakins talked about. Doesn't matter how it goes in, just get it in. Nash in the corner. Nash, long reach. Moore lays it deep. Ferentz has got it. He'll give it to Hall. Hall controls a bouncing puck to Ferentz. This is Teddy Purcell. Purcell to Schultz. Schultz moving in. Drop pass for Hall. Hall cuts to the high slot. Lost it to Nash. And it's picked up there by Miller. To the middle, Zuccarello. Zuccarello, drop pass for Nash. Nash throws it towards the net. Stick save by Scrivens to the corner. Hall.
The other side.
Minutes 18, 33 minutes, 19 seconds, 1 hour, 28 minutes, 25
The
seconds.
Rangers had 12 players with at least 1 point in that game against Vancouver last night.
For 40 minutes, they were amazing to watch.
Gaspic gains the line, chips it in. He's going to chase it himself. Beats Boyle to the puck, and then gets tripped up, gets right back up with Hendricks and Benazzato.
Screen
Plays it off the boards for Kreider. Kreider can't move it past Fane. Boyle and Benazzato, a little bit of back and forth. Shot right back in by Mark Fane. Lundqvist settles things down, gives it to Mark Stahl. Stahl wants to flip it out and does, down into Oiler territory. The second half of back-to-back games, the New York Rangers are 1-2 so far. This is Petrie. Throws it towards the net. Didn't make it through. An opportunity for Draisaitl, and he didn't miss by much.
Went behind Lundqvist, I think.
Petrie again to the middle. Eberle, a backhand. And reaching out is Lundqvist. Yakupov's got it. Nail Yakupov. Ferentz keeps it in. And it's set down the ice by Boyle. And that's going to come back on the icing.
Steve Benazzato knows what he has to do. He has to get it on the forecheck. He has to be physical. So against Dan Boyle, you want to make sure you stop Dan Boyle. He's going to jump up in the play. A little rough stuff, a little slap in the face from Dan Boyle to the stick. Leon Draisaitl doing what his coach said. Just put the puck at the net. And from this angle, fires. Oh! From Dan Boyle, you want to make sure you stop Dan Boyle. He's going to jump up in the play. A little rough stuff, a little slap in the face from Dan Boyle to the stick. Leon Draisaitl doing what his coach said. Just put the puck at the net. And from this angle, fires. Oh! Great camera angle, guys. Great shot right there.
Alain Vigneault calls a timeout. 15-12 left to go in the second period.
Alain Vigneault just giving his guys a rest because the icing. 1-0 game. Got to be smart.
Surf your fave wave with the new Mastercraft X20. Let the Gen 2 surf system custom sculpt your perfect wave. Available at Martin Motorsports.
The Oilers with 6 shots so far in this hockey game. The Rangers with 8.
you think about 25 minutes into the hockey game.
The Oilers. The Rangers with 35 minutes, 49 seconds, 1 hour, 28 minutes, 25 seconds.
25 minutes into the hockey.
In this hockey game,
minutes, 35
the Rangers with
35 minutes, 47 seconds, of 1 hour, 28 minutes, 25 seconds.
Not a lot when you think about 25 minutes into the hockey game.
the Oilers have won 3 of the last 4 meetings between these two teams, including
42 seconds of 1 hour, 28 minutes, 25 seconds.
Steve Pinizzotto on the camp.
25 minutes. 35 minutes. The Oilers have won 3 of the last 4 minutes, 57 seconds of 1 hour, 22 minutes, 25 seconds.
including the
35 minutes. 35 minutes. The Oilers have won
3 of the last 4 meetings between these two teams, including November the 9th in New York. They won that game on the
36 minutes, 11 seconds, 36 minutes, 36 minutes, 13 seconds, of 1 hour, 28 minutes, 25 seconds.
Third line on the ice now for the New York Rangers. Line reaches forward against Pitlick. Stempniak for Hayes in his skates, stripped by Arcabello. Arcabello with Pitlick and Perron. Pitlick. He's behind the net, gets it to Perron. Perron back up top it comes. Davidson lets his shot go, and that's deflected high.
It's Mark Arcabello.
Boy, Arcabello has had a target on his back now.
Davidson got his head up, looked. Now, when we start talking about the Edmonton Oilers, and you're looking for more, number 19 comes into account a lot. A lot of talk about Justin Schultz and what he's got to bring. Early in the year, without a doubt, his defensive game was left wanting. But I think he's steadied his defensive game right now. And I think that's what the coaching staff wants. Now, when we start talking about the Edmonton Oilers, and you're looking for more, number 19 comes into account a lot. A lot of talk about Justin Schultz and what he's got to bring. Early in the year, without a doubt, his defensive game was left wanting. But I think he's steadied his defensive game right now. And I think that's what the coaching staff wants. They want him to be steady defensively and let that offense come.
Hayes moving in against Schultz. Centering pass for Hagelin. Broken up by Teddy Purcell, and Nugent Hopkins starts back. Nugent Hopkins cuts to the middle. Lost it, but got it to Hall. Hall from the corner to Purcell. Purcell with a wrist shot deflected. Davidson winds, fires another shot through traffic. Purcell's got it. He'll get it to Hall. Schultz pinching in. Hall under pressure, lost it to McDonough.
You want to get there and help, because you notice the white jersey, the Ranger jersey. At times, there was 3 guys behind against 1 Edmonton Oiler. Talking to Craig Ramsey, he said, we want to make 2-on-1s, 2-on-2s as quick as we possible.
Dash out in front it comes, and Hendricks is there to start the rush back for the Oilers. Pinizzotto avoids the hit from Klein. Jasnik in there to help out as well against Stahl. Stahl lost it to Hendricks. Hendricks can't get it by Nash, and here comes Miller. JT Miller. That line's going to change. Klein right down behind the red line. Zuccarello against Gastic. Gastic. Pass to Fane to Pinizzotto. Out of the zone. Hendricks to Gastic. Gastic with a shot that gets deflected off the stick of Stahl and into the netting. Rogers Oilers hockey from Rexall Place, right here on Sportsnet.
Welcome back high above the ice at Rexall Place. There's Marcus and Milena Larocque. Hi, guys. How are you? Okay, yeah. They don't care about me. Hi, guys. How are you? I think it's good. And also with George. And they don't talk like you do. I know you never. You always enjoy talking.
No, they want to talk.
How do you? Anything you want to say? Okay. What do you think about being here at the game?
You know, it's the first time since I left in 2006 that I've come to a game, because my kids are, now that they play hockey, they really want to see all this game, and I still get shivers. It's an awesome feeling to be back at this rink, but at the same time, I still remember that last year that was a heartbreaking year, obviously, to lose in Game 7 and to look at that banner and being a finalist. But again, it was good memories, but. You know, at the same time, it's weird because you come, you see all those empty seats, in 2006, you can get tickets to come see the Oilers, and now I know things have changed, but I hope that they can turn this around.
Do you miss what you used to do in hockey, the role that you had?
Well, you can never miss that because it was a tough role. You know, that's what I had to do to be in the NHL and to stay. And I'm really thankful that I never got hurt, never got any concussion problems because, you know, some of my colleagues, we see what happened to some of them that passed away because of their job. So I'm glad I'm healthy and didn't have to suffer from this. I have a great life now, life after hockey. But, you know, I appreciate everything that hockey have given me. And I'm healthy, I'm here, and beautiful kids, children, so I'm happy.
George, thanks for this. Nice to catch up.
Thanks for having me.
That has got to be one of the toughest jobs. You can ask Louis DeBrusque about that as well.
What, being interviewed by Gene?
That's true.
Did George's kids just give him the Heisman right there or what? That was awesome.
Doesn't happen often. Boyle with a shot deflected, and Scrivens makes the save, and he'll hang on.
Some concern for the Edmonton Oilers is Taylor Hall on the bench. He takes a shot, goes to front net, gets hit. That's smarts. This hurts more coming up as he goes to the boards for check. He's in first, but Dan Girardi plants him in the numbers into the boards, and that kind of stung a little bit too. He was getting attended to. You see the grimace on the bench, kind of grimacing coming off the ice in some difficulty. He was still on the bench, as we showed you. Now he's on the ice. So he's fine. He's a hockey player.
11:33 left to go in the second period.
41 minutes.
11:33 left to go in the second period.
41 minutes, 25 seconds, and 1 hour, 28 minutes, 25 seconds.
Gene will be talking about what happened to Kevin Klein last Monday in Pittsburgh. You talk about a tough hockey player. Gunna plays it off the boards for Nash. To the middle it goes. Picked up by Petrie. And I know you're going to be all ears for that story.
Come on, Gene. I'm sorry, Kevin.
Zuccarello on the steal from Petrie. Centers it. Ferentz is there. Gets it to Purcell. Purcell. Now Taylor Hall. Can't get by him.
Two Flames that didn't have a shot on goal after two periods.
All
right, Jim, a bit of housekeeping. The Oilers will finish the game with defenseman short as Brandon Davidson is not returning to the game. The guess is his injury occurred on this collision with Matthew Tkachuk behind the net. Not sure what the extent of the injury is, but again, a guess would be upper body.
He was really slow to get up. He didn't want to achieve.
And it's got to be one of the toughest jobs.
Going on there.
Louis DeBrusque about that as well.
Beautiful kids, children, so I'm happy.
First, the season is
deflected and Scrivens.
Oilers is Taylor Hall.
Even he'll hang on.
Some concern for
injury is, but again, a guess would be upper body.
He was
0%
slow to get up. He
shot.
didn't want to engage.
goes to front net, gets hit.
He stopped for any of the wrestling that was going on there.
He goes to the boards.
Really shaken up.
He's in first.
Already, the Oilers are running into some injury problems, and the season is not even a night old.
He was getting attended to. You can see him grimace on the bench. Grimacing coming off the ice.
With that upper body.
He was really slow to get up. He didn't want to engage.
Into the boards, and that kind of
stopped for any of the wrestling that was going on there.
on the bench.
Really shaken up. Already, the Oilers are running into some injury problems, and the season is not even a night old.
First, Dan Girardi plants him in the numbers into the boards, and that
With that
a little bit too.
the wrestling that was going on there.
On the bench.
Already, the Oilers are running into some injury problems, and the season is not even a night old yet.
So, he's fine. He's a hockey player.
With that goes up.
The Oilers are running into some injury problems, and the season is not even a night old.
We'll be talking about what happened to Kevin Klein last Monday. Can't get by McDonough. Petrie throws it in. And we're coming back. Well, the streak of Rick Nash continues, and it's a career high.
Rick Nash is simply amazing. He's playing at a level that we saw when Rick Nash first came into the league, or maybe even better than that, because now he plays in all three zones. He kills penalties. He stops and starts. He's physical. He's fast. I think we're going to have a timeout with the Edmonton Oilers off of that one. But Rick Nash, when you look at Rick Nash's international career, it's in all three zones. He kills penalties. He stops and starts. He's physical. He's fast. I think we're going to have a timeout with the Edmonton Oilers off of that one. But Rick Nash, When you look at Rick Nash's international career, he's physical, he's fast. I think we're going to have a timeout with the Edmonton Oilers off of that one. Rick Nash, when you look at Rick Nash's international career, it's phenomenal. And last year he goes to the Stanley Cup Finals. This is one of the great players in the game that was lost a little while in Columbus. We all noticed him, we all knew him, but Columbus was that they were infants when he was first there.
Second in the league in goals, and look where he is since 2002.
And look where he is. And look at the team. Remember the team he played for. He started, like I said, the Columbus Blue Jackets. You know, Doug McLean, who's you see often and always on Sportsnet. Not a bad move, Doug McLean, grabbing that guy on your team. But you look at all the numbers that the guys ahead of him certainly had more opportunities with other teams to score. Although Joe McGinn was another one of those ones you look at and go, wow, that's pretty impressive.
38 career games against the Oilers. He's got 28 points. Point 28 was picked up on the only goal so far in this game at 16:04 of the first period. The Oilers, he's got 28 points. 0% point 28 was picked up on the only goal so far in this game at 16:04 of the first period.
He's late.
Taylor Hall. Can't get by McDonough. Petrie throws it in. And we're coming back.
Shoots. Scores. Patrick Maroon. Point 19 for number 19. We're tied at 1.
The streak of Rick Nash continues, and it's a career high. Well, the streak of Rick Nash continues, and it's a career high.
What a play by Russell breaking it up. Quick transition game, and sometimes simpler is better. This is a simple play where you're looking for pass all the way, and instead of making the pass, the quick release gets under the arm of Elliott. For Elliott, a disappointing start. This one goes right underneath. He overplayed it to the outside, and it 400 underneath.
We saw
Tyler Pitlick
first came in late, maybe even better than that. Playing at a level that's close to being. We saw when Rick Nash first came in late, maybe even better than that. Because now he plays in all three zones. He kills penalties. He stops and starts.
That lineup gets a goal. Tyler Pitlick's been a 5-year pro, and just about every time he gets close to being a regular, he's been hurt. And he's in this opening night lineup, and he gets a goal.
Don't you think it's because of injury that he's in as well and taking it?
But every time he
was lost a little while in Columbus. We all know 2002. Give us another. Just became a dad. About 2 months ago.
And the teammates are saying, hey, you got to have more kids, because when you're going to the
strong with his gene talking about that. Heavy as he was last couple of years. Again, the one thing about Nash that people never understood was just how fast he is, how he can get from A to B. And once he decides to drive the net, very unlikely you're going to be able to stop him.
7-time 30-goal scorer. Jordan flips it off the boards, comes to Ferentz. Gasnick is checked. Ferentz to Petrie. Petrie to Pinizzato. Pinizzato in the middle for Hendricks. Hendricks can't get by McDonough. And it's sent down into Oilers territory, and that will mean a change for the New York Rangers. As the Hayes line is out there, that's Stepniak and Hagelin, along with Boyle and Stahl. Gaston brings it in, throws his shot towards the net. That was blocked by Boyle, and back the other way comes Stepniak. Stepniak drops for Hayes. Hayes back to Stepniak. A backhand attempt, doesn't get through. An opportunity stopped as Boyle let it go. Pressure still on. Kevin Hayes with the puck now. Hayes works his way to the blue line, throws it towards the net, dropped by Hendricks. His stick got in the way. Hayes, by Hendricks. 454 points. Hayes to the middle for Hagelin, gets by him, and it also got by Boyle. The Rangers regroup. The shots favor the Rangers 9-7. Stahl's going to bring it in. Take a hit from Fade. Hendricks in the corner. Lost it to Stepniak with a shot, and a great glove save by Ben Scrivens. Bails out to the 23.
30
Mark Fane has blocked more shots than any other Edmonton Oiler. Comes up with one right there.
His career. Oilers hockey.
Mark Fane is blocked.
0% vertically scroll.
Sportsnet presents the road to the NHL Winter Classic on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Mountain on Sportsnet 360. Episode 1 brings you behind-the-scenes footage with the Blackhawks and Capitals as they prepare to compete in the 2015 Bridgestone NHL Winter Classic.
Miller wins the draw, and a quick shot by Nash, handled by Scrivens. We'll get another face-off.
JT Miller is a guy that they really like with the New York Rangers. From training camp, they like the way he played. He's got all the tools to be a very good forward.
He's a second-line winger last night. He is a first-line center tonight. And he's got 4 points in his last 5 games. Eberle can't get it by Klein. Quick shot there by Miller. And that one goes wide. Zuccarello with it now. Zuccarello circles the net. Gives it to Nash. Checked by Ferretz. Nash back to the point. Klein with a wrist shot deflected. And there's another glove save by Ben Scrivens.
Talbot. Again, 5 guys really active on this forecheck and creating offensive chances. Kevin Klein, terrific lateral move. He comes across, eyes up, shoots the puck, deflects off, and then Ben Scrivens finds it. That's a tough one to find, too. I might be going over that, but that's Ben Scrivens grabbing the puck and just settling everything down. He can let it go past, but a good goaltender grabs the puck, stops it, controls the play, and the tempo of play in his zone.
Out shooting the Oilers 5-2 in this second period. Out in front again. Back to the point it comes. McDonough will give it to Girardi. Near side is Stepan. Derek Stepan. Fane. Long pass intended for Hall. Got by. Back to the point. Line with a wrist shot. Scores!
Derek Stepan.
Again, 5 guys
The
really
Rangers
active on this forecheck,
leading
creating offensive chances.
to 2-1.
Terrific lateral move on this forecheck and creating offensive chances. Kevin Klein, terrific lateral move. He comes across, eyes up, shoots the puck, deflects off, and then Ben Scrivens finds it. That's a tough one to find, too. I might be going over that, but that's Ben Scrivens grabbing the puck and just settling everything down. He can let it go past, but a good goaltender grabs the puck, stops it, controls the play, and the tempo of play in his zone.
Out shooting the Oilers 5-2 in this second period. Out in front again. Back to the point it comes. McDonough. Stop the puck. It was over his head, and we'll go back to the other way. Gino.
The Goals to Kids program is proudly sponsored by Synovus. For every Oilers goal this season, Synovus will donate $400 to Kidsport. Today, the Oilers have scored 65 goals for a total of $26,000.
New York Rangers are 4-1-3 against the Western Conference. Their only loss in regulation time was to the Edmonton Oilers. They'll be in Calgary on Tuesday and then continue on Western Canada and then Tobacco Road.
Do you think the guy who does this has a globe in his office at all?
Boyle throws around behind the net and gets to the near side, and it's not out. Here is Glass with a shot, and that rises over top of the cage. Dominic Moore, Jesper Fast, and Tanner Glass, the 4th line, putting on pressure as it comes back to Stahl. He steps into a shot off his teammate Moore and ends up behind the net. Nugent Hopkins under pressure. Gets the puck back again, plays it off the boards, can't get it by Boyle. Moore and Nugent Hopkins do a little pushing and shoving. That's Dominic Moore as the puck comes down the ice. And the problem with that, Drew, is that your top line spends time in the defensive zone.
Yeah, and you can't get any offensive attack going because you're gassed. So you got to change.
Speaking of changes, how about Teddy Purcell now with... And then there's another glove save by Ben Scrivens.
Again, 5 guys really active on this forecheck and creating offensive chances. Kevin Klein, terrific lateral move. He comes across, eyes up, shoots the puck, deflects off, and then Ben Scrivens finds it. That's a tough one to find, too. I might be going over that, but that's Ben Scrivens. He comes creating offensive chances.
46 minutes, 49.
Again, 5 guys really active on this forecheck
seconds of
great
1 hour,
offensive
28 minutes,
chances.
25
Kevin
seconds.
Klein, terrific lateral move. He comes across, eyes up, shoots the puck, deflects off, and then Ben Scrivens finds it. That's a tough one to find, too. I might be going over that, but that's Ben Scrivens grabbing the puck and just settling everything down. He can let it go past, but a good goaltender grabs the puck, stops it, cross,
46
eyes
minutes,
up,
50,
shoots
46
the puck,
minutes, 50,
deflects off.
47 minutes, 0 seconds
And
of 1
Ben
hour,
Scrivens
28
finds
minutes,
it.
25 seconds.
That's a tough one to find, too. I might be going over that, but that's Ben Scrivens grabbing the puck and just settling everything down. He can let it go past, but a good goaltender grabs the puck, stops it, controls the play, and the tempo of play in his zone.
Out shooting the Oilers 5.
46 minutes,
eyes up,
58,
shoots the
46
puck,
minutes, 50,
deflects off.
47 minutes, 0 seconds of 1 hour,
Ben Scrivens
28 minutes,
finds it.
25 seconds.
That's a tough one to find, too. I might be going over that, but that's Ben Scrivens grabbing the puck and just settling everything down. He can let it go past, but a good goaltender grabs the puck, stops it, controls the play.
Boyle.
38 minutes, 49 minutes, 30.
Shoots it in. Scrivens takes a look. Actually working over Draisaitl as Hayes starts away for New York. Klein shoots it in. Scrivens takes a look, stops it, plays it himself. Back to the point, though. Shot by Klein goes wide. Eklund digging for it. Pitlick. Davidson out the middle. And with some speed, here comes Teddy Person. Person couldn't get the shot away. Petrie will pick it up. Davidson shoots it in. The Oilers make a change.
The Oilers.
Arcabello.
Yes, he
and Eberle. 6 minutes, 8 seconds left to go in the second period.
Rangers 2-1 lead.
Klein has to go off the stick of Yakupov. Zuccarello bounces it back out down into Ranger territory, and McDonough will send it to Miller, who tips it in. Eberle down the right side. Jordan Eberle flips it in. Yakupov is going after it. So is Lundqvist. Can't get it by Eberle, though. Eberle from behind the net. Battling with Nash. Girardi intercepts the pass. He'll give it to Ryan McDonough. McDonough flips it ahead for Zuccarello. Zuccarello shoots it in. Waiting for it is Nash. Gets by him and goes to Miller. Miller centering pass. Doesn't work. Here is Nash. And a good defensive play there by Petrie. And then Nash comes back and takes the puck away from Hall.
I don't know if Taylor's 100% healthy after that. When we showed you being hit from the puck and then being hit by Girardi.
Long pass for Nugent Hopkins. Stumbled. Checked by Stahl. David Perron on that line. Hall throwing his weight around. Hit Boyle. Hall's got it now behind the net. Taylor Hall.
Adam Larson.
Back up top for Perron. He'll go cross ice.
Larson.
Ollie for Hall. Got by him. Nugent Hopkins on the retrieval.
Adam Larson.
Lost it to Dan Boyle. Hall comes in to help out. Fain in there as well. The puck comes loose, and it's Boyle. St. Louis over skates. Picks it up again. Great Couture. Kreider cutting around Ollie. Kreider. Button hooks back up top. This is Girardi. Girardi with a wrist shot, and he missed high and wide.
He had all the time in the world, didn't he?
And Girardi with his second goal of the season. This Hall lets a shot go, and he put it high and wide. He'll head to the bench. Just over 4.5 minutes to go. Pitlick with a nice move to get around Girardi. He'll play it back to Schultz. Schultz waits, gives it to Purcell. Purcell wide, down low for Petrie. Petrie around the net. Here is Petrie with a shot. Stops by Lundqvist.
Good play by Petrie. Take what's available.
Purcell covering at the point. Here's a wrist shot through traffic that misses. Hendricks from his knees back to the point. It comes. Schultz will give it to Petrie. Petrie takes a look. The shot deflected wide.
His first look was to cross the ice. His first thought should have been shoot the puck. Can't defer to people right now. You've only got 8 shots in the game, and it's almost the end of the second period. Put that puck on the net.
Just 3 shots in this period for the Edmonton Oilers. Ferris to Davidson. To the middle it goes. Arcabello to Eberle. Eberle chips it in, but look at the speed of Hagelin to come back.
Hey, he can skate, can he?
And he will start the rush for New York. Hagelin fires it in. It comes right to Scrivens. He's not going to take any chances. He's going to cover it up with Stepniak right there. Jeff Petrie with a power play goal against Anaheim with a big shot. Jeff Petrie with a power play goal against Anaheim with a big shot. Tried to wrap around here, stopped by the King.
On Monday, the New York Rangers and Kevin Klein were taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins, and it was a rough night for Klein as he took a high stick and suffered a laceration of his ear, but it turned out well because he was doing his post-game interview after being the overtime hero, scoring the game-winning goal in all, a total of 13 stitches. They were calling him the Vincent Van Gogh of hockey. I may hear more if I keep my ear to the ground.
That was epic. That was, and the person that he was bleeding. Awesome.
That's keyboard shortcut shift.
Stall with the shot that goes wide. There's an opportunity for Miller. Stopped by Scrivens.
We saw that last night, all the video last night on Coach's Corner, Don Cherry. That was, and the person
this time it hops over his stick. Zuccarello with the assist on the Girardi goal. Stall to Miller. Miller or Zuccarello. Zuccarello will backhand it in. Miller will give chase. Steals it. Miller stops. Nash looking for it, and a good defensive recovery there by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
So close for the Rangers to make it 2-0 off a face-off. Matt Zuccarello sets up a little bit higher and away. Now he just slides away. He just disappears. Mark Fane with the recovery in that long reach. That's why you teach defensemen. One hand on your stick. Extend that stick. Extend your defensive range. And Matt Zuccarello looks up to the sky and goes, really? And then a bouncing puck. And a terrific opportunity. Again, swept away by the Oilers. But the Rangers coming close. And Matt Zuccarello looks up to the sky. Your stick, extend that stick, extend your defensive range. And Matt Zuccarello looks up to the sky and goes, really? And then a bouncing puck. And a terrific opportunity. Again, swept away by the Oilers. But the Rangers coming close twice in one shift.
2 blocks for Mark Fane. One of them may have saved a goal. Hagelin. Hayes. And Hagelin play catch. The puck does come free, and Yakupov starts away. Eberle across the blue line. Eberle to the middle it goes for Yakupov. Chopped at it. Petrie keeps it in. A bouncing puck will come to Girardi. Eberle keeps the puck in at the blue line. Yakupov's behind the net. McDonough gets there first, but look at Arcabello get on it. To Schultz, to the near side for Petrie with a wrist shot. And that went through Yakupov and wide.
You're seeing more when the Oilers do get an opportunity to shoot the puck. You're seeing more blue jerseys at the net.
Hagelin to Stepniak. Stepniak with Hayes catching up. Stepniak fires a shot. Rebound. McDonough. How did that not go in? He thought it was in. The captain will head off, and the Oilers see the game stay at 1-0. Petrie to Pitlick. About 40 left to go in the period. Rangers have had some grade A chances in the last couple of minutes.
Is this a save? This is silly how good of a save this is by Ben Scrivens. Talk about a goaltender who is just giving his team the opportunity. One save there. Look at this flexibility. Outstanding job by Ben Scrivens. That is a save that you made in the summer because of all the work you put in the gym. Because all of that work that you giving his team the opportunity. One save there. Talk about a goaltender who is just giving his team the opportunity. One save there. Look at this flexibility. Outstanding job by Ben Scrivens. That is a save that you made in the summer because of all the work you put in the gym. Because all of that work that you put in, flexing and stretching, and fantastic by Ben Scrivens. Job by Ben Scrivens. That is a save that you made in the summer because of all the work you put in the gym. Because all that work that you put in, flexing and stretching, and fantastic by Ben Scrivens. That's a big one right there.
14 saves for Scrivens so far. Herschel. Hendricks and Pitlick. Pitlick with a big hit right down in the corner on Stahl. Back to the point. Herschel and lost it to Stahl. He'll get it to Kreider. Kreider to the middle for St. Louis. Quickly gets it to Stepan. Eric Stepan can't get it through. Purcell gains the line. Purcell off the stick of McDonough and up into the netting.
The Oilers can help themselves if they get some more support on the offensive and defensive side of the puck, especially in the forecheck. Just go ahead and roll these guys in real time. Just count the jerseys. Good job, but 1, 2, 3, 4 Rangers. You need another Oiler. Get over there. Get over to help. Don't let the Rangers outnumber you. But still, Oilers do a pretty good job, but they can't come up with the puck and create any offensive. Roll these guys in real time. Just count the jerseys. Good job, but 1, 2, 3, 4 Rangers. You need another Oiler. Get over there. Get over to help. Don't let the Rangers outnumber you. But still, Oilers do a pretty good job, but they can't come up with the puck and create any offensive chance because they're being outnumbered. You've got to have more numbers than they do. Got to play inside.
Nugent Hopkins won the draw, but the Oilers regroup. Ball. Long shot. Lundqvist thought about playing it and then decided to hang on.
You mentioned Henrik Lundqvist is going to have up and down here, but boy, they sure rely on the King. King Henrik has been very, very busy. The guy for the New York Rangers. You look at the guys that Marty Brodeur is Marty Brodeur. He's in a different class. But then you've got Esposito and the great Glenn Hall and Henrik Lundqvist. That's some heady company right there.
We thought we might see Cam Talbot tonight. Back-to-back games. But it is Lundqvist for the second time against the Oilers. Long shot. Lundqvist thought about playing it. Decided to hang on.
That was too close to a tie.
You mentioned Henrik Lundqvist going up and down here, but boy, they sure rely on the King. King Henrik has been very, very busy. The guy for the New York Rangers. You look at the guys that Marty Brodeur is Marty Brodeur. He's in a different class. But then you've got Esposito and the great Glenn Hall. Marty Brodeur, very busy. The guy for the New York Rangers. You look at the guys that Marty Brodeur is Marty Brodeur. He's in a different class. But then you've got Esposito and the great Glenn Hall and Henrik Lundqvist. That's some heady company. Up and down.
Long shot.
October 12/20.
Long shot. Lundqvist thought about playing it and then decided to hang on.
October 12/0%
Another turnover. Tyler Pitlick takes advantage. And this is almost a bad read by Larson. He gets caught flat-footed, allows his man to go through, but what a play by Russell breaking it up. Quick transition game, and sometimes simpler is better. This is a simple play where you're looking for pass all the way instead of making the pass. Play by Russell breaking it up. Quick transition game, and sometimes simpler is better. This is a simple play where you're looking for pass all the way, and instead of making the pass, the quick release gets under the arm of Elliott. For Elliott, a disappointing start. This one goes right underneath. He overplayed it to the outside, and it found room underneath the elbow. Tyler Pitlick's been a 5-year pro, and just
start. This one goes right underneath. He overplayed it to the outside. Make it a disappointing start. This one goes right underneath. He overplayed it to the outside, and it found room underneath the elbow.
Tyler Pitlick's been a 5-year pro, and just about every time he gets close to being a regular, he's been hurt. And he's in this opening night lineup. Gets
the elbow right underneath. He overplayed it to the outside, and it found room underneath the elbow.
Tyler Pitlick's been a 5-year pro, and just about every time he gets close to being a regular, he's been hurt. And he's in this opening night lineup.
Don't you think it's disappears? Mark Fane with the recovery in that long reach. That's why you teach defensemen one hand on your stick, extend that stick, extend your defensive range. And Matt Zuccarello looks up to the sky and goes, really? And then a bouncing puck and a terrific opportunity. Again, swept away by the Oilers, but the Rangers coming close. That's defenseman, one hand on your stick, extend that stick, extend your defensive range. That's why you teach defensemen one hand on your stick, extend that stick, extend your defensive range. And Matt Zuccarello looks up to the sky and goes, really? And then a bouncing puck and a terrific opportunity. Again, swept away by the Oilers, but the Rangers coming close twice. Mark Fane with the recovery in that long reach. That's why you teach defensemen one hand on your stick. Extend that stick, extend your defensive range. And Matt Zuccarello looks up to the sky. Your stick, extend that stick, extend your defensive range. And Matt Zuccarello looks up to the sky. Really?
October 12/20
a bouncing puck.
keyboard shortcut game button.
And a terrific opportunity.
October.
Extend that stick, extend your defensive range. And Matt Zuccarello looks up to the sky and goes, really? And then a bouncing puck. And a Zuccarello. Mark Fane sets up a little bit higher and away. Now he just slides away. He just disappears. Mark Fane with the recovery in that long reach. That's why you teach defensemen one hand on your stick. Extend that stick, extend your defensive range. And Matt Zuccarello looks up to the sky and goes, really? And then a bouncing puck. And a terrific opportunity, again, swept away by the Oilers, but the Rangers came closer. Teach to Pierce. Mark Fane with the recovery in that long reach. That's why you teach defensemen one hand on your stick. Extend that stick, extend your defensive range. And Matt Zuccarello looks up to the sky and goes, really? And then a bouncing puck. And a terrific opportunity on your stick. Extend that long reach. That's why you teach defensemen one hand on your stick. Extend that stick, extend your defensive range. And Matt Zuccarello looks up to the sky and goes, really? And then a bouncing puck. And a terrific opportunity, again, swept away by the Oilers, but the Rangers came close twice. So close for the Rangers to make it 2-0 off a face-off. Matt Zuccarello sets up a little bit higher and away. Now he just slides away. He just disappears. Mark Fane with the recovery in that long reach. That's why you teach defensemen one. Mark Fane with the recovery in that long reach. That's why you teach defensemen one.
YouTube video.
Hand on your stick, extend that stick long reach. That's why you teach defensemen one hand on your stick, extend that stick, extend your defensive range. That's why you teach defensemen one hand on your stick, extend that stick, extend your defensive range. And Matt Zuccarello looks up to the sky and goes, really? Big save in the gym. Always do
the draw, but the Oilers hang on.
Hendricks one.
Nugent Hopkins. Everly gets it back to him. Everly works it back to the point. It was intercepted. Nugent Hopkins bounces it to Hall. Schultz is down low. Everly covering, throws it towards the net. That was blocked by Foss. And that will do it.
Well, the one that wasn't called. And then the goal scores.
Ben Scrivens come up with two huge saves to keep it a 1-0 game. Welcome back, everyone. Let's take a look at the scoring summary brought to you by Wally Parts and Scores. Visit WallyPartsandScores.com to find your place on our construction team.
In the first period, Dan Girardi got a goal, firing it to the front of the net from Rick Nash and Matt Zuccarello. It stayed that way. But in the second period, face-offs the same. Block shots favor the Rangers. Hits favor the Oilers. Saves favor the Oilers. Scoring chances favor the Rangers.
And there was some concern about Taylor Hall. He did not come out immediately with the rest of the team, but he is on the ice right now.
He showed you he got quite hurt by Dan Girardi. See how he is. We'll keep our eye on Taylor.
Jeff Petrie and Andrew Ferentz on the blue line. Petrie played 15 minutes and 53 seconds through 40 as St. Louis drives the net. Ends up in the corner, and Everly's got it. Everly, Nugent Hopkins, and Hall. Nugent Hopkins given a bit of a rough ride there by Chris Kreider. St. Louis waits for it. And gets knocked down by Everly. Puck comes back to Ferentz. He'll give it to Petrie. Petrie with a wrist shot through traffic, and that was blocked.
Took the wrist shot because Taylor Hall was heading towards the net with a stick down. That's what Taylor wanted. He had the stick down, was hoping for some sort of deflection.
Well, the Oilers have done a good job of limiting the Eastern opponents. 2 or less goals in 7 of their games against the East. They are 6-3-1 against the Eastern foes, Gino.
Well, Kevin, the Shirts Off Our Backs online charity auction presented by Rogers is now open. Bid in exclusive memorabilia and experiences, including an autographed Gretzky 1984 Stanley Cup reunion jersey and the opportunity to appear in the 2014-15 Edmonton Oilers team photo. Proceeds from the Shirts Off Our Backs online charity auction will be directed to the Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation and the Christmas Bureau of Edmonton. To bid on these items and much more, visit OilersFoundation.ca.
The Arcabello line is out against Rick Nash's line.
Bid on these items.
Wins the draw. Back to Fane at the point.
Stanley Cup and bid in
covers the 2 or less goals in 7 of the opponents. 2 or less goals in 7 of their games against the East. 2 or a good job of limiting the Eastern opponents. 2 or less goals in 7 of their games against the East. And they are 6-3-1 against the Eastern foes, Gino.
Well, Kevin, the Shirts Off Our Backs online charity auction presented by Rogers is now open. Bid in exclusive memorabilia and experiences, including an autographed Gretzky 1984 Stanley Cup reunion jersey and the opportunity to appear in the 2014-15 Edmonton 84 is now open. Bid. Well, Kevin, the Shirts Off Our Backs online charity auction presented by Rogers is now open. Bid in exclusive memorabilia and experiences, including an autographed Gretzky 1984 Stanley Cup reunion jersey and the opportunity to appear in the 2014-15 Edmonton Oilers team photo. Proceeds from the Shirts Off Our Backs online charity auction will be directed to the Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation and the Christmas...
Zuccarello will give it to Stahl. He'll flip it ahead for Nash. Miller in a race with Arcabello. Arcabello gets there first. Schultz turned it over to JT Miller and then paid the price as Arcabello sent him in to the boards heavily. Nash. Pass was behind Miller. And he's picked up now by Perron. David Perron checked by Zuccarello. Nash takes his time, wants to get a change in. Zuccarello, though, comes across the blue line, stops up. Hayes picks it up there. Kevin Hayes turned it over to Pitlick.
Banner there by the Oilers in their own zone. 4 guys around Hayes. There's no way he was getting that puck anywhere.
Puck comes right to Lundqvist in the draw.
It's been like...
Also plays over 24 and a half minutes, does Jeff Petrie. Hendricks trying to force a turnover. Out there with Gazdic and Pinizzato. Stepniak retreats behind the net to get away from Gazdic. Pinizzato throwing his weight around as well. He took John Moore into the boards. Rangers clear, and they'll bring it back in. Hagelin to Hayes. Hayes goes cross-ice for Stepniak. Petrie gets there first. Petrie comes around to the near side. Hendricks waiting for it, along with Ferretz. He'll reverse, and Petrie's got it. Jeff Petrie off of Hagelin comes to Pinizzato. Hayes picks it up. He'll give it to Klein. Klein sees nothing, just flips it in. The Rangers want to make changes. Draisaitl, Tyler Pitlick, and Teddy Purcell. Purcell slows it down as it comes to Tanner Glass. Davidson pinching as well. Purcell gets knocked down. He's lost his stick. McDonough off the boards for Moore. Can't get it out. Lundqvist stops it. He'll play it himself. Moore stepped up on there by Schultz. This is Dan Boyle. Moore behind the net. Dominic Moore's got Glass out in front. Glass moves to the corner. Gets it back. Here is Foss. A pass from Moore. He's separated from the puck by Schultz. Schultz under pressure. Turns it over. Jesper Foss to Dominic Moore. Moore bobbled the puck, and Draisaitl takes over, takes a hit from Glass as he gets the puck out. Tanner Glass backtracks and then run over, and bringing it in is Nugent Hopkins. Nugent Hopkins, button hook. He's got Stahl watching him. Leaves it in the corner. Hall and Everly converge. Hall comes up with it. Hawley calling for it. To the middle for Nugent Hopkins. He was checked by Mark Stahl, and the Oilers will retreat. Ball brings it in. Everly going to the net. Lets a shot go. It broke the stick of Taylor Hall, and now he'll head to the bench. St. Louis gets it as far as center, and that's it. Yakupov checked. That puck goes into the Ranger bench.
This period period brought to you by Crystal Glass. Glassidents happen. Crystal Glass, for all your glass needs.
Hockey telecast in 48 hours as Edmonton is back on the road visiting the Arizona Coyotes Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m. Mountain right here on Sportsnet West. Man, oh man, is Arizona struggling at home. They lost in a shootout last night. They have lost 9 straight at home at Gila River Casino Arena. McDonough to St. Louis. Body St. Louis. Squeezed off the puck there by David Perron. Nifty little pass in the middle for Arcabello. He fires it around the boards. McDonough chops at it. Yakupov with Arcabello in front. Couldn't get it to him. McDonough prevented that. Perron picks it up on the near side. Stepan. St. Louis to Kreider. Stepan tries to stay on side and almost
that tearing
injured himself.
Yeah, that tearing sound you hear is groin.
Here's Yakupov snapping a shot, and that one goes over top of the cage. Hug that line.
Get me some ice.
Nash to Miller. To Zuccarello, just out of his reach. Ollie bounces it off the boards, but Nash will bring it back in. Now he's got to wait. As Zuccarello would have been offside. Draisaitl, soft little pass and a quick shot there by Teddy Purcell. Purcell goes and gets it. Draisaitl, backhand, stick down for Henrik Lundqvist. Boston for Zuccarello. Zuccarello flips it in the corner. Miller will go after it. Miller checked by Petrie. Hall picks it up right in front of his own net. Nice pass to Petrie. Jeff Petrie across the blue line. Dishes off to Hall. Hall takes a bump as he plays it behind the net. Stahl waits for it. Eberle tracks him down. Nugent Hopkins with the steal, but Hagelin comes back defensively. Stahl under pressure. Eberle forces a turnover. Now Stahl's going to come to this side to Girardi, see if he can get it out. Hayes can't. Now they finally muscle that puck out to center. Scrivens directing traffic. Leaves it there for Schultz. Oilers on the change. Just over 13 minutes left to go in regulation time. Gazdic has Klein in the sights, gives him a bump. Benizzato in there digging for the puck as well. Gazdic back to the point it comes. Off the end boards, right out in front, and reaching for it was Hendricks. Here's Ollie with a shot. Off of Hayes into the corner. Fourth line continues to work hard. And the Rangers forced to send that puck down the ice. St. Louis with the Jets. Ollie, though, gets there first. Benizzato for Hendricks behind him. Came right to Gazdic. Gazdic just couldn't get it. Stahl, the longer reach. Fane to Davidson. Top line for the Rangers. Back on the ice. Here comes Yakupov. Yakupov stopped at center. Chipped back in by Rick Nash. Davidson now. To the middle it goes for Arcabello. He takes a bump from Nash as he delivers the puck deep. Lundqvist lays it around the board. Zuccarello waiting for it. Nifty little pass to Nash. Quick outlet to Miller. Miller driving in against Davidson. Taken into the boards by number 88. Davidson to Perron.
Again, numbers around the puck for the Oilers on that breakout. Nice play by Davidson. Take his man and then you get numbers over the support.
Over 4 minutes without a whistle. As Foss tips it in. Scrivens takes a look, decides to play it himself to Purcell. Can't get it by Girardi, though, who's content to backhand it in. Petrie gets that. Draisaitl, quick up. Here's Purcell. Teddy Purcell moves to the middle. Schultz down low, circles the net. Schultz still has it. Turns, lets a shot go. Lundqvist, awkward save, but Purcell plays it back to the point. Schultz, here's Petrie with a quick shot. That one goes wide. Teddy Purcell recovers the puck. Pidley, Purcell, and Draisaitl. Draisaitl gets away from Tanner Glass. Leon Draisaitl to Teddy Purcell. Purcell
Petrie's shooting position, lets it go. That hit Jesper Fast, and McDonough went over top of him. And McDonough, the captain, slowly makes his way to the bench. McDonough, remember, missed 11 with a separated shoulder.
Since he's come back, he's got 5 points in the 6 games. It's a big key to their success, the Rangers.
Got a goal against Vancouver, his first since last March. Back to the point, here's Klein with a shot. And that laser goes over top of the net. It gets by Stahl. Eberle will give chase. Stahl gets there first. Stahl, nice pass to Stepniak. Stepniak. Hagelin. Carl Hagelin behind the net for Kevin Hayes. Hayes takes a look, gets it to Hagelin. Hagelin tried to feed it out in front. Klein was down low.
They're very active. They have got the green light to support the play everywhere on the ice. In the offensive zone, I don't know if anybody reads the play better than Klein or Dan Boyle. I mean, those two guys are really terrific at jumping in at the right time.
This is Boyle. They'll chip it in off of Derek Stepan. And Louis brought up a good point, too. When you've got a guy like Henrik Lundqvist, you can take those chances.
You look at Alain Vigneault coach teams. That's when he was in Vancouver, that's what they did. They jumped up into play all the time. There were 5 guys, 5 pieces always moving on that forecheck. They put tremendous pressure on the offensive zone. Same thing in Montreal when he was coaching there. They get going.
Petrie going across the blue line to Perron. Perron with a shot. Big rebound in front. Arcobello looking for it. Petrie down low.
I like Jeff Petrie's game.
Eric Stepan throws it in the opposite corner. Kreider, Wise, fires a shot. Scrivens the save. He'll cover up. No rebound. As we go 7 minutes and 8 seconds without a whistle. David Perron with the shot. The rebound was there. Cleared into the corner.
Tonight's Safeway $1 million score and win grand prize winner will receive an all-inclusive trip for 2 to a Grand Bahia Principe resort, courtesy of redtag.ca, where Canada shops for great travel deals. And tonight's grand prize winner is Jane Devlin Brandt of Edmonton. Congratulations, Jane. Shop at Safeway today, and you could be our next lucky winner.
Here to cheer or just for the beer? Half off wings during the game and game day drink specials every time Edmonton plays all day long. Hudson's, Canada's Pub.
8:53 left to go. From Park. Now coming in the first period, Dan Girardi at 16:04 from Nash and Zuccarello. Yakupov got there and negated the icing call, but here comes Zuccarello back. He'll flip it in. Miller going after it. Miller. Ferentz gets there. Gets a little help from Arcobello. Gets it to Perron. Yakupov calling for it. He's got it. Yakupov at center. Puts it deep. Lundqvist. Well, leave it there for Girardi. Kevin Hayes off the boards to Zuccarello at the end of his shift. He will bounce that puck in. Nugent Hopkins with Hall and Eberle. The game started with Teddy Person on that line, but Jordan Eberle has been on it for most of his hockey game, trying to find some offense.
Well, that's the key word, isn't it? Goal support, the Western Conference. Well, we know how good the Ducks have been this year, and how about the Calgary Flames? A big surprise, but the next opponent for the Edmonton Oilers is the Arizona Coyotes. They are just above the Oilers, lacking goal support, 13th and 14th in the conference. Not where you want to be, obviously, and that's where it began when Dallas Eakins talked about trying to find a way through execution, and sometimes, as John Shannon said, some puck luck go your way. And when you have 14 shots through the third period, all past halfway, that's the other aspect. Got to find a way to generate more shots.
They had 23 shots against Anaheim.
This has been a stingy game for shots, hasn't it? It's only 17 for the Rangers. It's a bit free-flowing offensively.
They had 23 shots in the game against Vancouver last night. They allowed 30 in that 5-1 win.
Yeah, they took the foot off the gas there in that game. And it's just the natural human reaction. Mike Johnson talked about it last night.
Purcell, Pitlick, and Draisaitl. Stepniak can't get it by Ollie. Purcell circles the net. Hagelin on the far side. Got it to his defenseman, Stahl, who lugs it out to center. Stempniak finishes the job with a slow shot right on to Ben Scrivens as the Oilers get their top line back out there. Everly. There's to Nugent Hopkins. Circle to net. Nugent Hopkins back to the point. Davidson waiting for it there. He'll go cross ice. Snapping his shot and going wide. Hall's got it. Hall can't get it by McDonough. McDonough and Girardi defensively against the top line. McDonough. Again, Hall prevents that puck from getting out. Everly's got it. Everly. Hall with a shot. Lundqvist the save. And it's picked up by Kreider.
Nugent Hopkins wide open in the slot. It's the one time where you're looking to generate some shots, but...
Van Scrivens covers up. Same result.
Result.
Just over 6 are up. It's left in regulation time. Yakupov. Flipped in by Arcabello. Nash waiting for it. Round the boards for Miller. He'll get it to Boyle. And Boyle with a pass right in the face of Zuccarello. Perron takes it in and then takes a hit from Zuccarello right in front of the Ranger bench. He's tied up with Nash right now. Nugent Hopkins trying to get it to slow down. Boyle just gets it back down into Oiler territory. That allows the top line to regroup. Dominic Moore out there trying to check Nugent Hopkins as McDonough backhands it in. Scrivens stop it there for Schultz. He lost it to Hagelin, who plays it around the near side. Girardi pinching. Hagelin behind the net. Girardi's parked right out in front. Hagelin gets it to him. Girardi shot. Stopped by Scrivens. Foss with it now. And a penalty coming up to the Oilers. And this is something we haven't seen for a long time. That is a power play for the New York Rangers. They didn't have one in Vancouver last night. They've got one when we come back.
Skills competition presented by Rogers is returning to Rexall Place on Sunday, December 28th, featuring fastest skater, most accurate shot, hardest shot, puck control relay, and 3-on-3 competition. All net proceeds from this fan-favorite event will go to support the Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation. Tickets are only $10 in advance at edmontonoilers.com or by calling 780-414-GOAL, 780-414-4625.
By Nugent Hopkins at the penalty box. Nice play by Hagelin here. Feel the pressure, cut back on it, and you force that penalty by keep your feet moving. And that's what Hagelin was able to do. Ryan Nugent Hopkins had a long discussion with the official about that call.
$8 in advance at edmontonoilers.com or by calling 780-414-GOAL, 780-414-4625.
By Nugent Hopkins at the penalty box. Nice play by Hagelin here. Feel the pressure, cut back on it, and you force that penalty by keep your feet moving.
780-414-4625.
By Nugent Hopkins at the penalty box. Nice play by Hagelin here. Feel the pressure, cut back on it, and you force that penalty by keep your feet moving. And that's what Hagelin was able to do. Ryan Nugent Hopkins had a long discussion with the official about that call.
134 minutes and 57 seconds since this happened. That was Monday against the Pittsburgh Penguins, the last time the Rangers had a power play. A power play that has struggled. They are ranked 24th in the league. Step out. Being watched by Hall, gets it over to Boyle. Winds, lets it go. Scrivens the pad save. And the rebound is sent down the ice by Hall. Hall stays out there. Teddy Purcell also up front. Miller. Fein sends it back in. Hall tips it. And Taylor Hall has been aggressive on this penalty kill.
So there's Teddy Purcell, and during the break, Dallas Aikens had his guys over at the bench, and maybe that's what he told them.
Arcabello lets a shot go off of Zuccarello and into the netting.
This is the Sports Select Legends statistician. He knows the numbers, and the numbers start with a $sign.
Get your game on with Sports Select.
So during the commercial break, Dallas Aikens brought the penalty killers over, and he had the whole team actually gather around him, and he had the board out, and he was just talking to them briefly, but it looked like he told them, we want to be aggressive on this. We're down a goal with 4 minutes left. You got to get your feet moving, get after them. And he had the board out, and he was just talking to them briefly, but it looked like he told them, we want to be aggressive on actually gather around him, and he had the board out, and he was just talking to them briefly, but it looked like he told them, we want to be aggressive on this. We're down a goal with 4 minutes left. You got to get your feet moving.
Get it? Scored Tyson against Zero. Russell back to get it. Lets a shot go against Rillo. And Washington Capitals as the starting lineups are brought to you by Wally Parsons Ford, leading industrial construction. Learn more at Wally Parsons Ford.
He had the whole team actually gathered around. No changes for the Edmonton Oilers from the last couple of games. The interesting thing is, Tom McCollum started Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Benoit Pouliot, and Zach Kassian up against Alexander Ovechkin's line. We'll keep our eye on that as the game moves on. Eric Wright is still in the lineup. He's doing very well. The interesting thing is, Tom McCollum started Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Benoit Pouliot, and Zach Kassian up against Alexander Ovechkin's line. We'll keep our eye on that as the game moves on. Eric Wright was still in the lineup.
Are up front. It is Ollie and Petrie. Hendricks. Arcabello almost sprung. The Oilers with 2 shorthanded goals this season. Girardi brings it back in. Softly behind the net. Petrie gets there ahead of Kreider. And the Oilers able to send it down the ice. Purcell and Hall are back out. The Rangers just 5 power play goals away from Madison Square. Nash drops it back. There is Hall. He will send it down the ice. And that's going to force McDonough to pick it up with just 14 seconds to go, and the penalty to Nugent-Hopkins. Derek Stepas bumped into by Ferentz. Centering pass. Van Scrivens covers up. St. Louis right there. Oh. Tanner Hall.
Chris Russell
goals on the season. An opportunity there.
2-1 Rangers.
Tonight's Outstanding Play is brought to you by RE/MAX. Outstanding agents, outstanding results.
Outstanding save by Ben Scrivens. That is a save that very few can make. The flexibility, high-level varsity right there with all kudos to our friends, Dallas Stars announcer Darryl Ray. That is some kind of save. Outstanding play, outstanding results from RE/MAX, an outstanding result by Ben Scrivens.
One of 17 saves he has made so far. Yakupov, time. And their back for the shot. They didn't have one in Vancouver. Fastest skater, motors one for the New York Rangers. Been seen for a long time. That is a power. And this is something we. And a penalty coming up to the Oilers. And this is something we. And a penalty coming up to the Oilers. And this fight already pinching. Hagelin gets it to him. Driving shot. Stepped by Scrivens. Foss with it down. And a penalty coming up to the Oilers. And this is something we haven't seen for a long time.
Scores!
This is a power play for the New York Rangers.
The Rangers
they didn't have one in Vancouver last
with 3
time.
minutes left to go in the third period. Now a 3-1 game.
All net proceeds from this shot, hardest shot, puck control relay, and 3-on-3 competition. All net proceeds from this fan favorite event will go to support the Edmonton Oilers and 3-on-3 competition. All net proceeds from this fan favorite event will go to support the Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation. Tickets are only $10 in advance at EdmontonOilers.com or by calling 780-414-GOAL, 780-414-4625.
By Nugent-Hopkins at the penalty box. Nice play by Hagelin here. Feel the pressure, cut back on it. And you force that penalty, but keep your feet moving. And that's what Hagelin was able to do. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins had a long discussion with the official about that call.
134 minutes and 57 seconds since this happened. That was Monday against the Pittsburgh.
About that call. He had the whole team.
1 hour, 21 minutes, 1 hour.
The Rangers just 5 power play goals away from Madison Square. Nash, Derek Stepan, and Hall got a stick in the way. Nugent-Hopkins comes out of the penalty box, and the Rangers do not get a shot on that power play.
That's a very good penalty kill.
They were 0 for 1 when these teams met in New York. They're now 0 for 2, and Yakupov brings it across with speed. Schultz cutting for the net. Schultz right out in front. Stahl is there. But Schultz gets it back again. Petrie wants a shot. Instead, comes to Nugent-Hopkins. His shot went off Hagelin. A bouncing puck. That's Arcabello who gets it back again. Petrie. that pressure. He will bounce that puck slowly down the ice. No icing on the play. We're down to 2 minutes and 13 seconds as Petrie winds up from his own zone. Jeff Petrie to Perron. Return feed is cut off by McDonough, and he gets that puck out. Kreider was cut off there by Perron. Picked up by Hall now. He stopped at center ice and brought back in by Hayes. Long shots, and that is handled by Scrivens off the stick of Chris Kreider. This interview is brought to you by The Brick, saving you more on furniture, mattresses, appliances, and big screen TVs.
Rick Nash keeps rolling for the New York Rangers. Lundqvist and Scrivens have been marvelous tonight. Ben with 20 saves. Henrik's pitching the shutout with 15. And the Oilers had been so good against the East so far this year, 6-3-1. They're going to have to go a little bit to continue that success rate. 149 left and down by 1.
And the face-off.
Oilers have been so good against the East so far this year, 6-3-1. They're going to have to go a little bit to continue that success rate. 149 left and down by 1.
And the
Oilers to continue that success rate. 149 left.
And the face-off into the defensive zone, and it's going to be Mark Arcabello against Eric Stepan. Arcabello wins the draw. Fame. Cross ice for Hall. Scrivens thinking about coming out. And now he'll go to the bench. 6 attackers for the Oilers with $1:36 left to go. Hall with the puck now. Hall behind the net it goes. Back up top for Purcell. He'll go cross ice, find Schultz, get the puck back again. Purcell to Schultz in close quarters. Teddy Purcell to Hall in the middle. And it's tipped out and down the ice by Nash. A race for it. St. Louis tracking Schultz. Schultz right in front of his net. Perron gets stopped, but here comes Schultz carrying on. Schultz fakes the shot, goes wide. Schultz circles the net, looks for Hall in front. Girardi was watching him. Here's Perron. High slap for the shot. And there is Lundqvist to make the save.
Remember, both coaches have heard their timeout. They've already used them on icing calls. So good support coming up through the neutral zone. Fake shot by Justin Schultz. Now he's looking for somebody. Gets it to Taylor Hall, but on that aspect, David Perron slides up to the high slot. Sometimes you have to go away from the net if there's congestion. It's not always right to push to the net. Sometimes you slide away. David Perron slides away to the high slot.
Nugent Hopkins wins the draw back to Schultz. Schultz.
To that aspect, David Perron slides up to the high slot. Sometimes you have to go away from the net if there's congestion. It's not always right to push to the net. Sometimes you slide away. David Perron slides away to the high slot.
Nugent Hopkins wins the draw back to Schultz. Schultz for Hall, back to Schultz. Stopped by Nash, but kicked in by Purcell. This is Hall on the near side. Throws it towards the net. And it's played off the boards and down the ice by Stepan. Nash racing for it against Teddy Purcell. We're down to 38 seconds left to go.
Left to go in regulation time.
Jordan Evans.
3-1 Rangers lead.
Works by Moore. Gets it to Nugent Hopkins.
Nugent Hopkins stops
up. Plays it back to the point. There's a long shot that doesn't make it through. And an opportunity now for Hagelin. And he is going to seal the deal for the Bacons. Nugent, Jordan Everett. Seconds. This one, it's on it. By 2 guys when you think about Kreider. You saw he's got 4 points in his last 3 games. Now 5 seconds to try and break the shutout. But instead it is Henrik Lundqvist who gets his 5th shutout of the season and 55th of his career as the Rangers split the season series with the Oilers and hand the Oilers their 4th straight loss. They have now won, the Rangers, 3 in a row.
3-1
Play of the game is brought to you by Rogers. Live like never before.